Hi, everyone. Welcome to the semester. If this is something you're watching at the beginning of it, obviously, I'm Professor Rios, and I wanted to give you a bit of a tutorial slash info presentation on two web applications that are free that should help you in not only physical geography, Geo 101, but human geography, Geo 102. They'll be useful in world and regional geography. Um, so these are applications that you may be familiar with. Like, for example, I am pretty sure everyone's heard of Google Earth, this presentation right here. So let's begin with that one. The one on the right here is something called Earth Null. That's a weird name. It's also, I call it the Earth Wind Map, and we'll get into that in a second. So as far as Google Earth goes, Google Earth is like Google Maps, but on a sphere. It's sort of the easiest way I can think of it. You can download this as a free app on Android and iPhones, on your computer, or on your iPad if you have that, or any kind of tablet or laptop. Again, it doesn't matter if it's a PC or a Mac. This can be run on Google Chrome, and as of 2021, late 2021, you can actually run it using Firefox. Those are the only two web browsers that it will work on, which is better than before because it used to only be Google Chrome. So the beauty of Google Earth is it shows you the entire surface of the Earth. As you may have learned in any geography course, the sphere or a sphere is the only way to truly represent every single bit of land in the world. In addition to showing you land in shades of green and brown and dark green, light green, and everything in between, you're able to see different biomes. Like, for example, here you can clearly see the dense tropical rainforest of the Amazon, but you can also see things like, for example, deforestation in the change in green as you head from dark green, which is virgin tropical rainforest, to this sort of light green, which is more like ranches. So basically, these are grasses where you see the light green. These are dense tropical forests. So you can see that pretty well. And you can see how you go from tropical rainforest on the east side of the Andes to deserts. So you have, for example, this area here called the Atacama Desert. It is one of the driest regions on Earth, and you see that clearly in the shade. You know, it looks like you would think a desert would look like. So this is real color. So this is what the area looks like. And here, if you begin to zoom in, you see that these are desert landscapes with very, 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 very little in the way of human populations. If you zoom out, and for example, you head closer to home. So let's go towards New York. You know, you see the fact, you can see the clarity, just like you would on Google Maps. When you use that particular layer, you can see the individual roads and the buildings and all that kind of stuff, right? So it is a regularly updated, but it is in real time image or representation of Earth. So in reality, what Google Earth is like a mosaic, a whole bunch of different, it's like a collage in a way, a whole bunch of images put together to represent the Earth here. It's not real time. Some of the images that make up this image here, some of them might be a week old, some of them might be 2 years old. So it's not always perfect, but it's pretty good. And it allows you to see a lot of good detail about Earth. In addition, you get to see the different oceanic features. So you can see like continental crust the fact that Florida is really, really shallow on either side of its coastline. And then you can see the deep ocean floor, you can see plate tectonics. So in a physical geography class, you can actually see this represented pretty well. Here you see, for example, the mid-oceanic ridge, which is where the ocean is splitting up. You can sort of follow it along. These are two different plates on either side. If you go further north, you get to the place that has been in the news quite a bit recently. This would be Iceland. Iceland is a volcanic island, and it has a volcano that is erupting, I believe, very likely right now, right here in the southwest portion of the country. And this whole region is covered in ice and also covered in volcanoes. So it is a completely volcanically active island. More recently in 2021, the island of La Palma in right there, Santa Cruz de la Palma. This volcano had, or this island, which is volcanic in nature, had a volcano basically erupt right about here, and it added quite a bit of land to its geography just in 1 year. So there you get a sense of sort of the active Earth. And you can see that well enough using Google Earth. So Google Earth is a good way of sort of getting a sense of what the Earth looks like, how it's all connected. You can see different patterns. Like, for example, when you see the desert of the Sahara, you can see how it goes from brown, true desert, to less brown, a little bit more green. And then you get into the tropical regions where you find tropical rainforests in Cameroon, in Gabon, in the Congo, and places like that. So it allows you to see this in a much more relatable sense. And as people have more and more technology like phones and tablets, this is becoming less of a mystery, which is a good thing, so that you're sort of geographically more geographically aware. Right. The other piece of software that I wanted to highlight is this one, and it is called earth.nullschool.net. This is actually a Japanese product, but it's in English, and it allows you to see the Earth in near real time. So, for example, this image here shows you wind and wind direction. So you can see how if I zoom in, see the little wind barbs. So this is the direction the wind is blowing from. So if that's north and this is east, this is northeast, coming from the northeast. And you can see the different wind speeds. You can click on, for example, you can make this a little bit larger. And you can click on something and it will tell you that the winds are blowing at 41 kilometers per hour. You can change that if you want to meters per second or knots or miles per hour. And again, if you go and let's look closer into New York. And as of this video, which is being recorded on January 5, here you see that, for example, in Long Island, the winds are blowing out of the south, basically 185 at 28 miles per hour. So it's pretty windy when this is actually being recorded. And it tells you other things, like you can go and look at temperature. And you can see that the temperature in Long Island on this particular day is 11.3 Celsius. And I know most Americans don't function in Celsius, which is sad. So if you want to change that to Fahrenheit, oh, look at that, 52.3. And here you can see that if you go further into, say, the northern part of the United States, right now in Minnesota or North Dakota, the temperature is minus 21 Fahrenheit. It is winter, after all, when I'm doing this. So there you get a sense. And you can zoom out. And then you can go into and look at a hemispheric view. You can see the fact that, of course, the North Pole and Siberia. So, for example, in Siberia right now, the temperature is minus 44. Now, You can look at the southern hemisphere. It is summer there right now. And it's still pretty cold because Antarctica is one big chunk of ice. So even right now in the South Pole, it's minus 16 anyway, even if it is summer there. There you see the change in temperature. So you can, for example, let's see, you can start off at the South Pole, which is latitude 90 south, and it's minus 16. At latitude 80, it's minus 24. At latitude 70, it is minus 29. Latitude 60, 37. Latitude 50, it's 48. As you head closer and closer to the equator, it gets now warm, 59. As you head into latitude 19.8, it's 85. And so there you actually begin to experience summer temperatures in the middle of Australia. So this also, if you sort of zoom out, and let's look at the world on a bit sort of a bigger scale, you can look at things like currents, and you can look at ocean temperature. So that would be, let's see if I find that. Let's see, where would that be? Temperature. You zoom in, and here you begin to see the different currents, and see this current right here. It's flowing along the Japanese coast, and you can see how it's bringing warm water from the equatorial region north towards the northern Pacific coast. You can do ocean, and then you can do sea surface temperature. So here you get a sense of, let's do currents, and let's go over the United States. That's a little bit more familiar. And as you zoom in, you can see that the ocean temperature off New York City is 11. That's pretty chilly water. You wouldn't want to go in there for very long. However, this right here is what's called the Gulf Stream, and it's taking warm water, heat, excess heat, from the equatorial tropical regions north, and sort of taking that heat towards Europe. So that's why, for example, here's a cold current coming from the north. This one here is called a Labrador current. This here in white is ice. So this is frozen right now. As you can see, the temperature is minus 1.8, so it's already frozen. But this ocean water off the Newfoundland and Labrador currents is barely at freezing or below freezing. So this is probably very chunky with ice, but notice the temperature here might be 0.6 or 33 Fahrenheit, and not that far to the east, 43. And not that far to the east, 52. Keep going, 53. If you go a little bit further south, it's in the 60s. So where did this heat come from? It came all the way from the tropical regions. So it's a really good tool if you combine this with Google Earth for anything that is geographical in nature, anything that is environmental in nature. If you're taking a climate change class, if you're taking a class on just the environment, meteorology, climate, geography, and it's useful in many other fields because it helps you to link stuff together. So that's sort of what I wanted to address. I hope you found it useful. I know it is very useful in geography, so I hope you take advantage of it. This video will be linked and kept within the course page, and also available on my YouTube page as well. So otherwise, I hope you have a great semester, whatever that is, spring, summer, fall. I hope you're doing well, and I look forward to interacting with you. Bye.